Oh boy, there's a lot to talk about here. Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. Today's video is sponsored by Bright Sellers, and we'll be reviewing fitness YouTuber and influencer Krissy Cela. But first, let me tell you about my sponsor, Bright Sellers. So Bright Sellers is a wine box experience that pairs you with wine that you will love and then delivers it right to your door. I find that I always have a really hard time choosing a wine at the liquor store because honestly, what can you go by other than the look of the bottle? So Bright Sellers is a bit like having a virtual sommelier in your back pocket and a delivery service ready to get that wine to you stat. You simply fill out a quiz to determine your taste preferences, and they share 6 unique wines that you're most likely to enjoy from around the world. So they ask you questions like, what are your favorite flavors of juice, and what kinds of chocolate do you like? And then they make recommendations based on those flavor profiles. I'm honestly not necessarily a wine expert. I just know that I like it, well, a lot. So I feel like the service has helped teach me what I like about my wine, but also about wine in general. So if you want to find your own dream wine pack, you can check out my link below to get 50% off of your first 6-bottle box. Now you can pause the screen or look at the description to check out my disclaimer, including a trigger warning to those with current or previous experiences with disordered eating. I will be talking macros and calories, so you can feel free to skip that portion if that's not supportive to your journey. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that little bell so that you never miss out on an episode. All right, so a little bit about Krissy before we get too far into the review. Krissy is a UK-based influencer who posts all sorts of fitness content to her YouTube channel and Instagram page, including what I eat in a day, daily vlogs, and workout with me videos. And from the looks of it, Krissy's hard work that she's put into her platforms has certainly paid off. She currently has over 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 2 million followers on Instagram, a fitness app that she created called Tone and Sculpt, and a line of supplements in partnership with Women's Best, as well as her own line of activewear. So yeah, I guess you could say that she's doing okay. So today we're gonna take a look at the What I Eat in a Day that's the most recent at the time of filming this, titled What I Eat in a Day to Stay Lean and the Supplements That I Use. Let's take a look. Okay, so this protein oatmeal looks awesome. We've got carbs and fiber in the oats and blueberries, protein in the chocolate whey protein powder from her line, some healthy fats from the peanut butter, and a little agave to sweeten. Now, a lot of people do ask me if agave is healthier than regular sugar, so I thought we would break this one down. Agave and regular white table sugar are considered simple carbohydrates, and if we look at the nutritionals, a tablespoon of white sugar provides 12.5 grams of carbs and 48 calories, while 1 tablespoon of agave supplies 16 grams of carbs and 60 calories. Largely because it's a liquid sweetener and therefore more molecules can fit into a spoon. Now, a common argument in favor of agave is that it contains micronutrients that something like white sugar and other sweeteners do not. And while this is technically true that agave does have some trace vitamins and minerals like vitamin C, vitamin A, and selenium, you would need so much of the sweetener in order to obtain any significant amounts. So please don't try to get your vitamin C intake from sugar. Now, agave has also been popularized due to its lower glycemic index in reference to other sweeteners, thanks to the fact that it's 90% fructose. But the American Diabetes Association suggests that we should be treating agave the same as we would any other fructose or glucose-based sweetener. So my advice is to just choose whichever sweetener that you enjoy the most and ultimately use it mindfully. All right, let's see what's next.
Whenever I struggle to drink water, what I do is I get a scoop of BCAAs. This is my rainbow candy. BCAA's rainbow candy. And then I mix it in and I drink that and it's just so much easier to drink because it tastes so good.
Okay, so I get that a lot of us don't love the taste of boring old H2O, so adding in some kind of flavor might help you get your fill. And let's be real, rainbow candy water does sound good. Now, this is actually a flavored BCAA supplement from Krissy's line with Women's Best, which is a supplement category not without some controversy. For those who don't know, BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids, are a group of 3 essential amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, that are intended to increase muscle protein synthesis and muscle growth and prevent muscle breakdown. And while this is true for those who have low intake of dietary protein, for those getting around 1 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, the evidence suggests that it's likely very much unnecessary. In fact, we do have research to suggest that food or complete sources of protein may be much more helpful. And honestly, she already got her protein in the form of her protes. Now, don't get me wrong, if adding flavored BCAAs helps Krissy stay hydrated and meet her fluid requirements, I would say that that is a priority, at least it would be for me. But I'm more so just pointing this out to suggest that as long as you're getting enough good quality protein in your diet throughout the day, there's generally no need to be supplementing with additional BCAA supplements. All right, folks, let's take a look at lunch. This looks simple, but of course very nutritious. We've got lots of protein in the air fried salmon, some fiber-rich veggies in the mixed green salad, with some healthy fats from the olive oil and fish. Now, while this lunch is packed with protein and healthy fats, it's definitely lower in the carb department. I mean, if this was to be a post-workout meal, I would say, yeah, we would definitely want to up the carbs. But she did have a solid amount of carbs at breakfast, and I know that there is more coming at snack. So in the context of her day, it all balances out. Not every meal or snack needs to be perfectly balanced. So speaking of snack, let's take a peek.
So now it's my favorite part of the day. It is pre-workout time. So I've got some peanut butter and jam here on 2 slices of toast. I'm gonna have that, and then straight after, I'm gonna have my favorite ever. You have no idea. I look forward to having this every day. The pre-workout of dreams. So I'm gonna have it in my Woman's Best shaker.
I feel very seen on the sweet versus savory toast dilemma. This is just like always a daily struggle for me, and I too have just succumbed to the reality that I will forever need one of each. But yeah, this is a really great pre-workout meal. So we've got a healthy dose of energizing carbs from the bread and the jam, plus a little fat and protein to help satiety to get her through the gym sesh, but not so much that it would risk causing digestive distress. So this is actually a pretty good option as a pre-workout snack. Krissy also takes a pre-workout supplement with her snack, which once again is from her own line. Now, I did a little bit of research into her supplement line with Women's Best, and I think it's important to mention that the products are not third-party tested. I spoke about why this is so important in my video on supplements here, but in short, third-party testing involves an independent, unbiased organization reviewing a product to see if it meets certain criteria standards for quality and safety. Now, although individual ingredients in these products are regulated, like the creatine in this particular pre-workout supplement, the actual products as a whole are not. Now, I'm not saying that Krissy supplements are unsafe, but I do always flag that the supplement world is really like the Wild West. And unless you have an unbiased party taking a look to make sure that everything's kosher, you really just don't know. Anyways, back to this pre-workout supplement here. The first ingredient in this product is L-arginine alpha-ketoglutarate, which acts to increase nitric oxide production and vasodilation aka the widening of blood vessels, which would allow more oxygen to come into the body for easier energy output during exercise. This sounds super important in theory, but the research on AAKG supplements like this are admittedly kind of mixed. It's ultimately hard to tell whether vasodilation during exercise is due to the supplement or simply the act of exercise itself. Now, the next common ingredient in these pre-workouts is creatine. So creatine is an organic amino acid that helps supply energy to the cells and makes the muscle cells look bigger by pulling water into them. So we do have evidence to suggest that it has a lot of benefits. So the cited benefits of creatine as a supplement includes better workout intensity, greater training adaptations, enhanced post-exercise recovery, reduced injury risk, and more. And in the world of sports supplements, I would say that creatine is one of the best supported ones in the literature. There's also beta-alanine, which is another amino acid, which is meant to produce carnosine to reduce lactic acid accumulation in the muscles. Now, research from one meta-analysis showed increased performance, stamina, and recovery in athletes who are supplementing with beta-alanine. However, it's worth noting that beta-alanine has been known to cause some tingling as a really unpleasant side effect. So a lot of folks, including myself, just can't tolerate it at all. Finally, there's about 100 milligrams of caffeine per serving in this supplement, which is about the same amount as a cup of coffee, which is not outrageous considering a lot of other pre-workouts have a lot more. But of course, if you're taking this at the end of the day, it's just something to be aware of. So if you're looking for a pre-workout supplement, you might want to keep tabs on the caffeine levels, as well as pay attention to any unwanted side effects. Jitteriness, anxiety, nausea, flushing, and tingling are not uncommon side effects. There have also been people who have died from contaminated, unregulated pre-workout supplements. So you'll definitely want to pay really close attention to how you react to a pre-workout and of course adjust as needed. If you're sensitive to caffeine, look for one without it. If you're experiencing flushing, look for an option without niacin. If you're dealing with tingling face and lips, then an option without beta-alanine may be best. But whatever you choose, I do strongly urge you to look for one that is third-party tested through something like labdoor.com, NSF Sport, or Informed Choice, and always speak to a doctor or dietitian before starting a supplement routine. All right, folks, I am ready for a post-workout snack.
Best protein shake ever. Oh my gosh, I get so excited when I have this.
Okay, so refueling after her heavy workout with some protein here. We've got a simple protein shake with some kind of milk and her brand of protein powder. Now, I know that we often think about needing protein after a workout, but carbs are actually arguably even more important. We actually want to aim for a 3-to-1 carb to protein ratio after working out to help to refuel our muscles, replenish our glycogen stores, and help to drive that protein into the muscle faster. So it would be super simple to just throw in some frozen berries or like a banana or some oats into the shake just to get a little bit more of that optimal post-workout ratio in this snack. But let's take a look at dinner. Yum! Love me a good rotisserie chicken. And Nando's, where she ordered this from, I feel like it's like a solid step up from Xoxo Abbey, but you don't get the chalet dipping sauce, which to me is kind of the whole point of ordering rotisserie chicken. I could legit drink that stuff. But comment below if you are team Nando's or Xoxo Abbey. I don't even know if Xoxo Abbey is just a Canadian thing, but if it is, and you're Canadian, leave me a comment below and you educate everyone else on the beauty of the chalet dipping sauce. I mean, I know I'm getting off track here, but I'm just excited about Xoxo Abbey dipping sauce. Anyway, Krissy has quite an awesome little spread here. We've got protein in the chicken, carbs in the rice, french fries, corn, biscuit. We got some fat in the cheese and some broccoli for veg. The girl is representing our food group rainbow here, and I am totally here for it. And since she does have a good amount of carbs in this meal, I think it balances out some of the higher protein snacks and lunch earlier on. I normally would probably like to see a little bit more colorful vegetables in here, but I will say since she had a big salad for lunch, again, all balances out. This is also a restaurant meal, so the fact that there is any vegetable on her plate feels like a major win to me. All right, folks, now let's talk about the stats. And again, trigger warning, I am going to talk numbers, so please feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen if that is triggering for you. According to my calculations, Krissy's day came out to a total of 2,373 calories, with around 41% of her calories coming from carbs, 19% from fat, and about 40% from protein. Her macros are a little bit lower in fat and higher in protein, but again, if this works for Krissy, then it works for me. It's also very hard for me to assess someone's overall dietary patterns from just one day. So this may have just been a lower fat and higher protein day for her, and it's totally normal for our macronutrient distributions to fluctuate from day to day. I will also say that her fiber intake is slightly below both the Canadian and UK recommendations for most adults, but this is just kind of another aspect of one's diet that is not only normal to see variations in each day, but also highly individual depending on what intake makes each person feel their best. So let's talk about what I'm liking here. So first of all, it's definitely refreshing to see a young fitness influencer consuming enough to likely meet her energy needs, while also not completely demonizing or cutting out specific foods or food groups. I also appreciate her relaxed and cheerful approach to food, where she seems genuinely excited by different flavors and foods and doesn't seem overly concerned with counting calories or tracking everything that enters her body. I also love seeing her flexibility in ordering in and not fussing over the inability to control her macros or calories in her takeaway meal. Now, with the exception of all the supplements, which I'll speak more to in a minute, her meals feel pretty accessible, simple, and uncomplicated. You know, basically things that busy folks like you or I could make on the fly for just one person if needed. And I think a lot of people are looking for more solo meal ideas these days, so I do think that that's really great. Now, I don't know this for sure, but it would seem like she may also be in kind of like a cutting phase right now, just based on the juxtaposition of this video title with her last one, which was all about what to eat to gain muscle. So if that's true, this may explain why her meals are a little bit lower carb, as I noticed in the video on gaining muscle that she actually ate a lot more food. So for example, her breakfast in that video included eggs with her protein oats. Her lunch had pita bread and sweet potato. Her shake added in banana and peanut butter, and she also had some kind of chocolate dessert in the day. In fact, I specifically really love what she says about having chocolate every single day. So let's just quickly take a little look-see.
But yeah, I have a bit of this every day. And if anyone's watching this and is a dietitian or a nutritionist and is like, oh my God, this is terrible for you, it's good for my soul. This is what I eat in a day, so please don't judge me.
I am a dietitian and I am watching this and I am not going to judge. In fact, I think it's really nice to see a fitness influencer eating foods that also nourish their soul. So I got you, girl. So I think it's clear to me that Krissy has some physical or aesthetic goals which are totally valid, and she's absolutely entitled to that. But from what I can see, I feel like she's able to tweak her diet in a way to help her meet those goals without making herself feel overwhelmingly restricted and letting it interfere with her ability to live her life and enjoy food. Finally, let's quickly talk about some gentle nutrition tips. I think I want to start by saying that there are a lot of supplements in her day. I mean, I know that this is her line, so rightfully so, she's trying to promote it, but it does feel a little bit like a 20-minute add. We've got protein powder twice a day, plus BCAAs, plus the pre-workout. I think that the powders all got way more airtime than any actual food. Honestly, I really think that protein powder can be a really great, convenient option for busy folks, and I use it myself for that reason. But I do want people to know that it's possible to achieve these same results without having to rely on so many supplements multiple times a day. She could easily swap in some Greek yogurt, tofu, or cottage cheese in her smoothie if she already had protein powder in her oats. And if she's consistently getting in protein from, the chicken, fish, and protein powder, she can probably forego the BCAAs. I would also focus on sneaking a few more high fiber veggies, fruit, or whole grains in there, as her fiber numbers are a little bit low. So perhaps adding some extra veggies to her dinner, adding a little fruit to her smoothie, throwing in some plant-based protein like beans or lentils to her lunch salad, or topping off her protein oats with some sprinkles like hemp hearts or flax. But honestly, the girl clearly knows her stuff, so if it works for her, it works for me. All in all, Krissy was honestly a pleasure to both watch and review. Seeing her relaxed, flexible, and excited approach to food was extremely refreshing, especially for an influencer in the fitness space. And on that note, that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you again to Bright Cellars for sponsoring this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below on who you'd like to see me review next. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.